Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, I think this is actually going to be the most fulfilling video that I've done so far. Um, why do I do what I do? Well, I'll tell you, something happened yesterday and something happened this morning why I realized that I do these videos. Two awesome testimonies that I'm going to talk about. Awesome testimonies. These are people where I've never even seen a like, and actually, one of them, I've never seen a like on any of my videos, but I had an awesome testimony from this young lady yesterday, um, and this gentleman this morning, another awesome, wouldn't say testimony, but revelation from this gentleman. And why I do my videos, it's, trust me, I don't want no money out of this shit. If I get money, I'll be happy, fine. Who doesn't want money? But there's something that I figured out within the last few years, and sometimes I'm being exposed right now to a lot of people who have this knowledge, right? And this is not on social media. I'm talking about a lot of my clients are actually very wealthy people, and we have conversations. And it's crazy how much knowledge we're actually lacking, especially in the black community. We've created our own logics on what really, brings about a successful life. Life is about family, life is about people, life is about prosperity, and so forth. Let me get into pretty much what a young lady confessed to me yesterday. She said she's been watching my videos for a couple of months right now, a couple of months. I knew her from way back when I used to live in Philadelphia. And she said to me she moved in with her mom. Well, her mom invited her to move back into the house with her, right? Her mom was a single mom. Her dad was a very handsome man that had a lot of kids, extremely handsome man. He has a lot of kids, and her mom was actually one of the women, who was also attracted to her dad. And he wasn't a bad dad. He was just a well spreaded dad in terms of his time and attention was well spreaded. And she said to me, her mom sort of convinced her to move back in with her, saying, and this was pretty much saying, hey, if you move back in, and her mom was doing pretty okay for herself. If you move into the house, you'll be able to save your money and, possibly buy a house. Now, this young lady is a, university graduate, doing pretty well for herself. And after watching a couple of my videos, she said she started looking at her mom and just how her life was. And what happened is she said to her mom a few weeks ago, tell me the real reason why you wanted me to move back here. And she said her mom broke down and told her that honestly, she was lonely. Literally, she was lonely. And she, the young lady, should not make the same mistake. She needs to hurry up and start a family. Now, this is a woman, 38, 39. And so she said to her mom, but mom, you said, go ahead and, you know, get my career and all of this kind of stuff, and, men ain't this and men ain't that. This is what you've told me all my life. Find you the best man and so forth. And if a man ain't got no money, and after listening to a couple of my videos, she started to say to herself, well, why is it that I can't find a man that I want to be with? Now, she is a little overweight. Well, she is overweight. She's educated. But there's a specific man that she is looking for. Um, she did express impressed to me that she has this particular young man that scratches her itch when she needs to, but she would never look at him as a potential candidate for marriage. And I said, so how much does the guy make? Because that's all. I said, first thing I said, does he have a job? She said, yeah. I said, how long he been at his job? She said, roughly 9, 10 years. I said, roughly about how much he makes? She said, like maybe 40, 50,000 a year. And she makes about 70,000 a year. I said to her, that's 120,000 right there between two people. I said, do you find this guy attractive? She says, yeah. She says, and then I also asked her, I said, does he have any kids? She says, no. So I said to her, so how long you guys been, messing around? She said, about a year. And I'm like, wow. I said, and you had no intentions of, accepting a ring from this guy. I said, does he want to marry you? She said, and she's a pretty attractive, in her face, overweight woman. So she's very attractive in her face, overweight woman. I said, how old was the guy? She's 38. I think she said the guy was like 44, 45. And I'm like, why are you not making marriage plans to start your own family? She said, Mark, after listening to a couple of your videos, I said to myself, this guy is a good guy. There's nothing bad I can say about him. And she asked me, what could I do? What is it that I could do to really show him that I like him? I said to her, tell me one thing that you actually like to do. She gave me a few things, and one thing that stood out to me was she said she likes to cook, and she cooks very well. I said, you know what? From this day forward, until you guys move in together or get married together, cook for that man at least once a week. Cook for that man. Besides you getting your itch scratched, cook for that man once a week. And I guarantee you, he hasn't, and I'll tell you this, men know if we should pop the question, okay? If you're treating a man like a itch scratcher, he will eventually know that. If you're treating a man like an itch scratcher, men aren't stupid. We know if we need to ask the question. We do. So she is actually going to attempt to make herself a wife where this man who is very available, very single, pop the question. Listen, he's been around her for a year. He must like her. She's been letting him scratch her itch for a year. She must like him. I think with that salary of $120,000 together, their lives will be different. And guess what? They'll make their own kids where you don't have to call your daughter to come back in your house just to keep your company. That's the one testimony that I've gotten, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. If that's the only testimony I ever get from doing these videos, I'm gonna be happy. I figured out the secret, and I'm trying to share it because I realize a lot of us were not taught the secret. The secret is family. Two people coming together, working together, staying together, right? Now, the next important point that I wanted to touch on was a friend of mine sharing something with me this morning. It wasn't really a testimony, but it was a revelation that what I'm saying is absolutely correct. So he has a 21-year-old daughter, like me, that lives at home with him and his wife. She decided to start dating. Come to find out, he found out through the mom that she had a boyfriend. This boyfriend was not told to the father. He was introduced to the father. and it just so happened they were supposed to be going somewhere later on in the evening. Um, so he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to ask you a few questions about this guy that you're dating." She's in college. She finishes next year with her bachelor's. So pretty productive family. Hardworking mother and father. They have a few kids, and they're doing pretty well. Most of the kids are pretty much on the right path. Well, actually, excuse me, all the kids, I should say, are on the right path in terms of, you know, better growth. So he started asking her some questions. So he's like, "How old is the guy?" Um, she said he's 35. What kind of work he does? He has a particular job. Not necessary. Not. He has a job, not a career. Um, Pretty much, I'm assuming he's probably making about 40,000 a year, based on the job description that was told to me. And I said, we both had red flags. When he told me, I automatically had a red flag, and he said he had a red flag. And I'll tell you this, guys, a man who is looking to settle down, a 35-year-old man that's looking to settle down and start a family, generally do not go for a 21-year-old. He will go somewhere along the line of 25, 27, 30. That's his, if he's looking to start a family, have a wife, and so forth. I'm talking about doing the real thing. But of course, I'm not going to blame the man. Why? Because he, at 35, still probably haven't figured out his role and the things he needs to do to get to the next level. And because they say most men figure it out at 40. I think if you have a father in your life, you will figure it out way earlier than that. So what he decided to do, he decided to go ahead and Google. He asked the guy's name. He decided to go ahead and Google the guy. Come to find out, this guy has been arrested 13 times. I didn't ask about the convictions. 13 times, and assault, domestic violence was one of the one of the things that was on the arrest report. Now, listen, I know people get arrested wrongly all the time, right? But when you get arrested 13 times, one or two, we can work around that. But when you get arrested 13 times, that is absolutely, that's a no-brainer, right? So, of course, as a father, he shared that with his daughter. She was very receptive. Now she's actually dating a new guy who is somewhere close to her age, going to pilot school, right? And that's more in line with, what I or he would want for his daughter. And the moral of the story is, guys, because he was a father that was involved day over day in his daughter's life, he probably saved her from one, pregnancy for a man that's probably abusive. Take out the pregnancy, probably saved her from just an abusive relationship. As well as this man is 35, he's way advanced in terms of how to manipulate. Okay? So that's the role. Take away the money. Take away the lights. The guidance of a father that is of course past 40. Because remember, a lot of us weren't taught stuff. But if you're at 40 and haven't figured out your role as a man, then something is not right. Even if we had the single mom and the whole shebang, by 40, you're supposed to figure it out. But as I said, I think it's important to have the father in the male's life, because he won't have to wait until he's 40 to figure it out. He would have figured it out, believe it or not, in his probably teenage years, because that's what fathers do. We make men out of boys. Unfortunately, I got 3 girls. I don't think I'll be able to do that. Probably be able to do it with grandsons. Um, I'll tell you this. I think that if we work together, guys, we listen to each other and understand that there is a hierarchy. Male, female, children. That's it. No matter what, no matter who, no matter where he's from, even if he makes you feel as if you run the house, because trust me, there are women like that. Even if he makes you feel that you run the house, he's a very sad man. No man wants to feel like he does not have the power of the hierarchy. All we have as men is our ego. And the more you beat on it, is the worse we feel. Yes, I agree. Men do beat on women's ego too. But that ego was created by feminism. That's something I'll probably talk about in one of my other videos, my next videos. But the moral of the story is, in one instance, a mother decided to go live with a playboy, have a kid, literally had a long-term relationship as a rotating woman. She got older to the point where she could not secure a husband, tried to push that on to her daughter, tried to get her daughter to come and be her company. And because of my video, her daughter woke up and is about to seriously start dating a guy that she did not take serious. Second scenario, a father was able to interject a potentially harmful relationship, one that was not equally yoked based on his experience. Guys, what I do here, it's not to make fun, it's not to belittle, it's not to put down, it's to do a shock and awe to people who has been living in a fairy tale world. Now, until the next time, guys, peace out.